Good morning, everybody, and welcome once again to the weekly WAYPN. I'm Cal,
And I'm Zeddy,
aka
Hadrian Sagita.
Okay, so yeah, it's morning, not evening, because we've just been a bit out of it. So Calvinoni starts us off with the skeletal heroes from,
A Satire Art Studio.
and he does some more work on these, but I just wanted to comment on like how they look quite nice and old school. So I actually like that this skeletal shield right here has that great sort of bone look to it. But I feel like he could add some color in with rust on the weapons and maybe a bit of a mossy look with here. Like it sort of looks like they've come up out of the grave sort of thing.
Yeah, okay.
But I think like that, like you can still get some color into them.
They look quite bronzy, which is quite nice.
Yeah, no, they look like whites more than they look like just skeletons. So, I find it quite interesting. But when we take a look at them a bit further on, we'll give a more in-depth commentary. But I like where they're going. I think bring the Earth to the very rim of the base. Do you want to go and get Persephone? Since we're recording in the morning, that means that we have the cats outside.
Yeah, and I keep the door closed because of the winter air comes in and destroys everything.
There's a already open bit of food. Mix it up over there. So next up, we've got Brian, who's not currently hobbying, while he shows some hobbying.
Yes, I'm sure he's hobbying. Oh, I remember he did some assembly, right? No?
Yeah. He's doing some assembly. I think you're going to need to mix it up with a spoon for her.
I'll do that.
All right, so yes, I love the sarcasm, Brian. You're doing well. But actually,
I like the progress with the super glue. Yes, you've posed it in the correct angle and everything.
That's not super glue though, honey. That's plastic glue.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I know that brand.
I know some of these words.
Yeah.
I remember.
Oh, and so next up we've got Rando Gobble, and you know I think it's going to be
Rando Gobble. That's right.
Yes. I'm sorry. I find it funny.
Stop, honey.
Alright, let's...
It's the Rando Gobble.
It's funny.
Okay, so he has done some update with the smoke. Now, I wanted to say something about this.
The smoke looks really nice.
It looks smoky, but I still stand by my feedback that I gave Cage, I believe, when he did this, that it should be very bright smoke because it's rocket.
Yeah, so I can see what he's doing because he's trying to show like blast marks here and then up here. But I think with what you're saying that at the actual area where it's coming out right here.
Yeah, if we take a look at when rockets launch off, it's super bright.
Yeah,
right?
but
and even the white of the smoke.
Yes. However, let's keep in mind one thing.
Yeah.
Verisimilitude. We're not going for reality. We're going for the feeling of reality.
Right.
Like, remember that most black clothing doesn't look like black clothing.
It's like shades of grey.
Yeah, but what I mean to say is like this black clothing here, right? Even though done very, very well, right? That probably wouldn't look like actual black clothing. Black clothing would probably look less grey, have less texture, all of that sort of thing. Like I look at your jumper over there, right? And it's mostly uncolored, right? Like you wouldn't have those little bits of highlights where he's got that there.
He has
but
a variation of colours.
Yeah, and see, but that's good for miniatures, right? Because we're not going for reality. We're going for the feeling of reality. And like if we looked at this face paint close up, right? it wouldn't have those wonderful highlights that he's got in there, right? It would just be that straight red, but within that, like the light itself would give those highlights if it was at true scale. So what we are trying to do is a simulation of reality.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
So I'm gonna disagree with you on that one and say I think he did well because I think it communicates the idea very well. But yeah, I don't know about this though. So he's got like this little thing where it's got the whatever that is, the tracking finder over there.
Yeah.
And it's got a little glow there. But yeah.
I don't know. I think that's a nice touch.
Also, I'm sorry if we sound far away because Sunny's over there dealing with the cats.
We're gonna watch Persephone because she will eat a little bit and then she'll run off, and I have to make sure she finishes.
Or Hades will try and eat her food.
Yeah.
Hey, so Persephone is a tiny, tiny little thing. You know what, honey? I will give you this opportunity to splice in pictures of cats.
Yes. Okay. I will take note of the timestamp.
Okay. So I think right here, with this lady right here, I really like the way that he's done those almost white highlights with the skirting there. Yes. I think that looks quite good. I think that the basing has really stepped up. I like the basing and how he's integrated the models into it. So for example, the smoke here, and how the smoke has
do you see like those little flecks of orange?
Yeah, and
to show the brightness of the heat.
Yeah.
And it's like still fire, but it's encased in the smoke. And I think that's a very nice sort of detail.
But I do think over here, he should make it more blackened compared to this one over here.
Yeah.
Because like that's sort of the image that it seems to be going for.
Yeah, seems. Yeah.
I think that like they look
very good.
Yeah, for the most part, fantastic. I really like his very crisp, sharp highlights.
Yeah.
And like I know that the term is specular highlights, but the highlights here where he's done like those little bits of edging there to give it that idea of, you know, the lighting. And see, I should say, like here, it's more apparent where he does the blends up. He's trying to show the idea of the light hitting the model, because you can get the idea that the light is coming from this angle, like that.
Yes.
Or at least that's where the light's bouncing off, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think, alright, what he's done well is compared to his last models, he's integrated the base a lot better over here. But I think on this one, he needs to integrate the base a bit better.
Yes.
Right? So I think for the most part, vast improvement.
Yes.
But I think like that's about it that we can add for him, because like the painting and the technical side is just so nice. I love the textures in all of this, and the skin is very nice and reflective. Same with the little horns and all of that.
It's very dynamic. I think it shows off the pose, the movement.
Yes.
Very well.
Yes.
I think that's what he's managed to capture.
So that's what he's done well, and I think the only thing is just on this one over here.
Could use a bit more blackening of the thing.
And also you notice that it's not quite as intense up the edges of the leg and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's really good as well. The one thing I will say though is the boots shouldn't be as clean as they are with the jump troopers still, because they're still going to be running around like these guys, right?
Yes.
And that will give them more of a feel like they're in the environment, more of a feel like they're a part of this
just
thing.
A tad, because maybe you could justify it as, you know, with so much propelling power, you know, the air's pushed the dirt down a bit.
But
it should still have some dirt.
Yeah, and especially, and it will still be more on the front than it will be on the back. I understand what you're saying, and like we're going for verisimilitude, but if we're going for verisimilitude, we definitely should have more, considering how much is on these other people.
Okay, so I'm just gonna let 80s out.
Yes, before the screaming starts. All right, next up, we've got Joseph. So Joseph has gotten himself away from the computer games for a little while.
Yay!
All right. Color choice input wanted. What color should his canteen be?
Green.
Okay, I think he actually finishes him up before we respond.
Or maybe a metal tin canteen.
Okay, but I'm glad that other people respond, because like the thing is, I remember when I used to respond to every comment. That's why I actually started this show, because I used to respond to every comment, and then I'm like, this is taking up way too much time, and then that's why I started this.
Yeah, but it's good that obviously you want the community.
Yes, you
not
do.
Just one person's perspective on anything.
Yes,
you
exactly.
Want many perspectives.
Yes.
Of things. Yeah.
Yes, so the Catanians have left.
Yes.
And we are in peace once again. We took them out for their walk, but they come back in periodically to scream at us. So
it's like, why are you still inside?
Yes.
Come out.
Why are you here? All right. What color should his canteen say? And I should say I'm trying for something pale blue that'll pull focus.
Yeah, that'll pull the focus.
Yep.
Iron is blue in color theory, so I'm currently leaning in that direction, but not 100% convinced. I'd be interested in other wiser opinions. Rest of model is WAYPN, and it's looking like he'll be ready for varnishing before sundown today.
Okay, so let's take a look.
A blue wash is what Dearmood is saying.
Yeah, so, well, what I'll do is I'll save my thoughts for until we see this guy all done up.
Let us move on to
But yeah, I want to say I'm really glad to see that Joseph's coming back and giving his whips more regularly. And I'm going to look forward to seeing the finished product and seeing the way it went and seeing if the community had an effect.
Yeah.
All right. So,
oh, what is this?
That is the other side. You remember that guy that he did up all in red? That's sort of a draconic form that he's got for him.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
My plan is to finish 2 models this weekend. Went much better than expected. So I've taken a 6-hour detour to build and prime this guy, so he can dry overnight. Primer wants 8 to 12 hours before you paint over it. Time for TV and bed now. This is true, actually.
I'm just going to see what this other image is, because like... Oh, it's the wings.
Very nice.
Yes, I like the way that he sort of curled them over that. And see, it's little bits like that I think get you a lot out of things like this, because I didn't quite understand what I was looking at first. But see, seeing something like that, that's not something that's going to stick in your head if you watch it on a YouTube thing. Like somebody might be like, remember, if you do wings, you should do it. And like it'll be there for like five seconds or something. And remember how I was talking about the 5, which turns out to be 7 plus or minus 2 thing, right?
Yes.
There's only so much that you can remember. Mm-hmm. All right. And essentially, that's why I think things like this are good. All right. So, Joe Sutton says... Oh, I missed this one, apparently. So can I cheat and build more orcs before posting?
Why not? As long as you post pictures of your orcs. I have a faction from Carnival, the Stygio vampires, and did a display carry base for them. Woo! This a lot kickstarted me into painting after finishing a commission build I had gotten stuck on for over a year, but before picking it up again. Yay.
Oh, and this I thought was fantastic. So,
what's this?
so
James has posted some fun art stuff.
A little abstract art with his daughter. So,
oh no, that's his wife, honey.
No, granddaughter.
Yes, his wife and the granddaughter.
Yeah.
You missed out the wife.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
it looks like... I wonder, did he throw darts at it?
Darts, sorry.
Maybe.
It's one of those fun dart artworks. It's fun.
Alright, let's take a look.
He's always doing something fun. Then you put the balloons with paint. And...
okay, so they must have the paint...
in the balloons, yes.
Yeah.
And then you throw darts and they pop the balloon. But in this case, there's not enough paint and too much air in the balloon. That's why it's splattered in the way that it has.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you want less air in the balloon. You just want to actually just fill it with paint. Much like how you would fill a water balloon. And then just tie it and hang it. That way you've got more drip of paint rather than a sort of a burst of explosion like that. But yeah. Ha ha ha. Yay.
Alright, so we'll move on. But look, see, for me, when I look at all of this, like I'm just like, I defer to Sunny because I know nothing. So like I can't really comment. It's like, yeah, like I just think it's fun to give kids, an art experience, because if you don't, like, I think we talked about sensitive periods of development during a conversation that we had this week, right? And essentially, if you don't give them that chance, they won't develop those skills. Art, music, all of that, I think are key. Cooking is a big one, because that means that they can track multiple things to get them all ready at one point.
Yeah, it trains them in the art of multitasking and efficiency.
Yes.
Mostly efficiency.
But, this isn't how to raise children podcast. It's
it's art. Oh, Tyranids.
Yes. So when GW gives a free model, take it. That's a perfect way to test and improve your skills.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to read this out, and then we'll take
incoherent screaming. My high fleet Kraken turgent. Okay. Just missing basing, but gotta love when Warcop gives out a guide for good paint scheme. I'm particularly proud of how I've managed to blend the paints. The lush red corpus, the flesh bore hair, that pinky fleshy tongue. Basing needs to wait. Astra granite out of stock.
I think it's meant to be the flesh borer and that pinky flesh tongue, because I think some of those words got mixed together. But keep going.
Yeah. So they've run out of stock of Astra granite everywhere. P.S. Bear in mind when you see I've missed. Bear in mind where you see I've missed. GW forces you to build and glue in store, then paint later, so sub-assembly is no-go. Really?
Yeah.
I have Neuro Gaunts and the Neuro Tyrant coming soon, so expect those posts. Hey, that's weird. Why is that being done?
The forcing of the...
Yeah.
I think it's just so that people just don't go to each store and get a free model and then go to the next store and the next store. But I mean, like, really, that seems very inefficient. I mean, I think that rather than just being a free model, it should be given to repeat customers and
with a minimum expenditure.
Yeah. Like
that's what happens at our Warhammer stores.
Yeah, well, like, so unfortunately, we're not going to name the people in particular in case that gets them into trouble.
Yeah.
That's why we don't mention any of the stores, because unfortunately, there are crazy people on the internet, and we've experienced some of them, and it's not been fun. It has not been fun at all. But yeah. Yes, the reporting of my Facebook continually gets very old very quickly. But such is life. Let us move on to actually talking about the paint job. So, I think that the yellows have come out well, right, the way that he's done that. When it comes to blending, I wouldn't say as much blending, but I would say that the highlights have come up well.
Yeah, I would agree on that, yes.
You know, like, I think that the blending hasn't quite come out the way that you want it, but I would say that the highlights have come out quite striking. And now, let's remember that this is a super close-up, right? So, when we look away, and remember, there's going to be, if he's doing up a whole lot of Tyranids, there's going to be a horde of something like 50 of these guys together. When you look at this, those quite striking highlights will come out quite well. I think that they'll step up quite a lot. I do, however, think that this right here, the sort of fleshiness of the flesh borer, I'm not as sold on it because it doesn't give enough color differentiation.
Yeah, I can't tell that it looks like a fleshy gun, sort of situation.
Yeah, but I mean, like when you compare it to the rest of the model, right? It doesn't stand out at all.
You want it to be more pale, maybe pink pale. Yeah, because you can only go up in brightness from here.
Yes, maybe closer to his highlight color here.
I think the highlight color is what he's pretty much used, but as a base, so he needs to go a bit brighter than that, mix more white into the mate.
Yeah, well, I think that he's using a sort of a wash over it, and I can understand why, but that's why I think maybe either because I'm talking about it as a color scheme here, right? Because it doesn't contrast enough against the rest of the body. Like, I think that the Tyranid's actual flesh looks decent, and like, I'm a lot more forgiving with Tyranids for pulling this sort of thing, right? Because like we always say, we try and give feedback appropriate to the model.
The goal, yeah.
Yeah, and see, the goal, I should say. Because people are going to be painting so many Tyranids, just so many, and they're going to get
very tired of it very quickly.
Yes. And once they do, they're just going to be like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. I've had enough.
This is enough. No more.
Yeah, and so I think with that, I think the yellow just absolutely pops. Right? Great contrast against everything else there. Even though it has a similar value to that of the bone. But
the saturation is higher,
yeah. Yeah. But right here, it sticks out so well.
Yeah.
So well. So I think that's really good. I think this could use a different color entirely, or you reckon go way up in value?
Yeah. See, for that particular part, you have to go really bright or really dark at that point.
Yeah,
so,
I'd agree with that. So. And I think that the blending didn't come out quite as well as he would like, but the highlights definitely.
Yeah, that's what caught my eye.
And like, I like them being striking. I like them being bold when they're on Tyranids, because you're going to have hundreds of these guys, right? And it's just going to be like, you need them to be a lot more poppier, a lot less subtle than other miniatures.
So that they can break away from the uniformity of themselves a bit.
Also, like, it's just, they will quickly turn into a carpet of whatever it is if you're too subtle.
I see.
All right, let us move on. So next up, we've got
Gold Digby.
Yes, which I'm sure is a real name. All right, so he's doing up working on a new team for a new league, and with this, I think that A lot of it looks really good. I do believe that these are works in progress, mostly because like we see some areas that aren't coloured right.
So these are Nurglings of sorts.
Yes, so this is Nurgle Circus.
Oh.
And see, that comes from that game Mordheim that I told you about. And I think that there's a whole lot of things that I really like about it. I like colour contrast, right? So I think that, where is it? These guys right here, I very much like the colour contrast here. Right? I think you can keep those masks white. I think that that looks really good.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's going to make the gloves a different colour. But with the base, I think it needs something a bit more. I don't know what exactly. And as far as I can tell, these are works in progress. Would you say that's the case?
Yeah. I think they're still a bit of a work in progress, but these guys look fairly almost done.
Yeah, very close to done.
So I think he's going for some white pants there and a
Yeah.
yellow mask.
Well, see, this is one of the reasons why I don't paint them on the base that I'm ultimately going to paint them on, because that sort of pooling and that sort of thing. Like, I get it. It can be deliberate for the Nurgle people, like,
They're oozing out some stuff.
Yeah, you know, but if it's that case, put some PVA around there and mix some colour in to sort of give it the idea that, like, it's sloshing off them.
Yeah.
To make it look less like it's just a pooling mistake. I think that the colour choices are good. I think that I like the models for the most part.
Oh, that guy's got a moustache.
Oh, yeah. But I'm not going to comment too much until we see them fully finished up, because I think that when we see them fully finished up, that's when we're ultimately going to be able to decide on things. But as for this, I actually think that the white is a great contrast to all of the quite sort of messy colours of Nurgle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's a fantastic
But I think
contrast.
he's trying... Yeah, no, I think some parts are deliberately kept white, which is good.
Yes, but we'll see, because I think we'll have to see once some of these things are coloured, because obviously these pavilions are not white and grey.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's like a monster is trying to escape his tent.
No, the tent is the monster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we'll see how this one goes, but I'm liking the direction. The only thing I would say is with a lot of them, you need more color contrast, and I just don't like painting them on the bases that they're ultimately going to be on at the start, in case you have some mess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but that's the only things that I've got to say for this one. I like the color contrast. I like the direction things are going, but I'm looking forward to seeing how they finished up.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it's our video.
And we didn't get a lot of views on this one, so we're not 100% sure why, but if you guys know why, please tell us. And yeah.
We're always trying to improve the video.
Yeah, we are always trying to improve. Despite what some of the haters may think, we actually do try and improve ourselves wherever we go. Alright, so next up, we've got Januan Vision.
And he's got a new progress on his little dragon terrain situation.
Yes. So
we've
got some more guys coming along. And you can see I think he doesn't do an in-between step. He just goes black and then straight white.
Do you not do that?
No, I do.
Gray?
I do a grey in between.
Okay.
I wonder how this guy will work out, because if this guy's anything like the last one, I think that will be really interesting to see how he does
The
that.
tree man.
Yes, the tree man.
He's...
But,
Oh, What are these models from? Do you know?
I think a lot of them are from Moonstone.
Yeah.
Okay, quick photo dump, blah, blah, blah. Reaper Miniatures.
Really? No
Fifth
way.
Angel.
Yeah, Fifth Angel Studios.
And
Spira Mirabilis.
Yeah, okay. Alright, so we'll see how those ones all work out. Alright.
Very cool sculpts, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look, it's an orc?
No, I think it's a giant.
Oh, yeah.
A Moonstone fella I'm working on.
Yes.
What?
No, he's a Moonstone fella.
What? It is Moonstone.
Yeah, so I thought we were going to read more about it.
Alright, so let's take a look. So I think the skin is all done up, right?
Yes.
See,
I think the pants is going to be highlighted a bit further, no?
Yeah. It's hard to tell when with a lot of these people they've finished or
You're going to do more or not?
yeah, because like this, I don't know whether people like this or not.
Because
like,
it looks a lot like the wings of a moth at the back. With the way how fine the hair-like strokes look like wings
Are you
on
talking
a moth.
about? Are you talking about here?
No, the back. His back looks like the wings of a moth.
Oh, okay.
You know, because like moth wings are very sort of fuzzy.
Oh, okay.
And it looks a lot like that at the moment. And I think maybe there's going to be more blending that's being done because like that black or the very dark brown that is used to shadow the, define the muscle, it's quite stark at the moment.
Yeah.
And it usually doesn't go that stark in him, I think.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. Like, it's quite stark, and I'm just like, is that where he's stopping?
Yeah, see, front, it's not much like that at all.
Well, no, it is stark in some areas, but not as much in others. So we'll see where it goes. All right, and that was the Member Monday post, and we've got a lot of people coming in. But this is 2 weeks worth, to be fair, because I missed the last one. So it's great to see some new people coming in, but also Facebook was playing silly buggers, so we have some returning people as well.
We have Stephen McCullum, one of my druid miniatures from the game Salos Pre-Accident.
Salos Pre-Accident. Oh, okay, yep. No, I understand. So, I thought when he was saying Salos Pre-Accident, I thought he was like, that was the name of the game.
Yeah.
You're like...
That's what I thought too. But, yeah.
So I really, really love the base. The base looks absolutely fantastic. I like how it's got the moss blending into the rocks.
Yeah,
and the
I like
texture,
that.
All of that. I'd try and clean up that one little bit there because like it's just so nice with all of the rest of it. Like it.
Oh, he could do the black rimming.
No, I don't care about what color the rim is. Just that tiny bit there, like because it sort of just off-puts the rest of it. But I like the skin. It is quite bright though. It needs a bit more shadows, I think. But yeah, I think it looks really interesting. Sorry, you were saying?
I can't tell if the blades are meant to be like stone blades or metal blades.
Yeah, I think that could be. Made more apparent. But other than that, I really like it. I think that the face came up relatively nicely. I think that unfortunately the sculpt isn't as great because you've got the face there, right, and you can see that it's a beard, but it's not immediately apparent that it's a beard.
I could tell it was a beard, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, I like it. Alright, so...
Ooh, bronze dragon. Yay.
So let's take a look at the progress.
It's quite interesting. He's gone for like a silver wings.
Well, see, I don't know if he has or if like he's...
Oh, you'll see.
Oh, no,
see,
yeah, you're right.
It's
silver.
actually quite a very interesting contrast. I thought it would look a bit weird, like you just go full on metallics with the dragon.
Well, it is a bronze dragon, to be fair.
Yeah, no. I just thought maybe that might be flesh. I don't know. And then there would be bronze I don't know.
So the only thing I have with that, right, is up here in some of it, like this bit right here, I think should be bronze. See how it connects along there? Like that should be bronze there.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing is he really needs some wash and some other things to create depth in the wings.
Yeah.
Because currently it's just too stark.
Yes.
Like I know that he's going for the metallic look, right? And relying on metallics for that shine and stuff.
Yes.
But you still need that differential, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I understand what you're saying, yeah.
Well, do you have any more thoughts on this whip?
It's the same as you on that. Like, I kind of like it. It looks
it's
very
interesting.
Ethereal and, very unexpected.
Well, see, I think that's why it's interesting because, you know, it's that little bit that makes you go, okay then. Okay.
Yeah, you know, one would think that you're just sort of spamming the metallics, even though yes, it is a dragon. Metallic,
see, I like that it's all metallic, but I do think some deliberate choices of non-metallics, or at least, you know, differentials in the metallics, is important. Otherwise, it won't quite have the effect he wants.
Yeah.
But that's my thoughts anyway.
All right.
All right.
Oh, it's Joseph.
And see, this is what I was talking about. That's the companion piece for it. You want to read out?
Spent the day with the airbrush. It fought me every step of the way.
I believe you.
Might be time for a new one. Dragon King for Canadian Department of Motoring. Oh, okay. I see what he did there. He tried to make the jokes that we do.
Yes.
Yes. Really? Should we go? Okay, fine. Canadian Department of Motoring is now based and highlighted. Gonna need deep shadows restored and peak highlights brushed in. The red guy was painted a month or so back. Would you believe both their flesh tones are painted with the same paints? They're different forms of the same character as far as I know.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on the story part of that, and later today me and Sunny are going to discuss because the Gambler's box is finished, so I'm going to have to discuss with people what we're getting, what we're not, because Kingdom Death is so expensive. But I think that it's quite interesting. Let's take a look. So, see all of these greens and such. Quite interesting. But I guess this must be his base, the green. And then like he steps up in value from there. But I tell you what, it's night and day. I can still remember the old eyes. You know, like they're a haunting.
Went this way, and then after that.
But like they look so good now.
They do.
Like this is, I think, one of his best painted models ever.
The redo was so worth it.
Oh yeah, and I'm glad that our feedback actually helped someone, and like they changed it, and like things changed with it, and
a lot of our members do try to
but the other thing that I'm really glad is I got some feedback this
time.
You
and me both. I'm very glad that Brushstrokes got back to me on my one, and
I feel like I can't comment too much because like we're only seeing the start on this one.
Yeah, so we can't really have much to say.
All right, so here is them updated.
You know added what? Some moss on the skeleton.
No, actually, I was wrong. You know what? I was wrong. So these are different models, but you see how it's got this moss here?
Yes, I did point that out. Yeah.
And I don't know if these are meant to be sort of like deliberate cobwebbing or not.
Yeah.
But I like that as an idea. But see, I think he should add that moss effect to the other one. And you see how there's a bit more orange?
Yeah, rust on their helmets.
Yes. See, like, that's what I was talking about with the previous guys.
Well, let's take a look at the next picture if he did add
So,
a bit more. So
no, so there's more guys. So I think just adding that little bit extra would really help.
It did help it pop a bit, yeah.
Yeah, no, so I think, like...
Oh, that green one's quite nice.
Yes, but I think still the top one would have to be this right here with that little bit of green.
I don't know. I really like that full green one just because it had that full decay sort of look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very stark and contrasting as well. It really catches the eye.
But I do think, once again, you need to fully cover these bases. You need to get all the way to the edge of the rim. Like this one looks fine. And you need another element on there, even if it's just tufts.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, they just don't look complete enough.
Yeah, it doesn't really give much context into exactly where they are. I mean, by judging by the models, you probably think they came from like a grave area. And you could actually do that, add like a gravestone.
Tombstones.
Yeah, gravestones here and there just to make it like, oh, okay, I know where these guys come from. You know, you're telling a story. So, yeah.
All right. But yeah, so what I think he did well was the moss. What I think he can improve is the basing.
Basing. Agreed.
All right. Would that cover it for about these ones?
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I do really like the models and I do like what he's doing, but I feel like just like a little bit extra could really help him improve.
Yeah.
All right. So then you got some feedback, and so this is mostly my fault, all of the texture, because I was a bit too rough with it. And I think what I was trying to do was also trying to cover up all of the cracking in the model. And Brushstrokes gave some really good feedback. But I think we're going to have to start again on this lad.
Yeah.
But yeah, such is life.
But I thought I was doing well.
Yeah, no, I think you did good work, and hopefully you can use those lessons.
Yes.
And hopefully you can be a little less rough with the model, because you kept breaking his legs.
He needs to support, just a little support on the underfoot, because I can't quite get certain angles right.
Okay, so next up...
Oh, it's Brianna.
We've got the Shadow Sun model. Okay? Yep. Yeah. Sorry, you read that out.
I finished most of my Shadow Sun model for my Tower Army. I'm going to work on her highlights soon. It was also the first base I painted up and decorated. I practiced doing highlights on the skulls and rocks on her base.
Okay, let's take a look.
Ooh!
So we'll see if there's... Alright.
It is a very interesting base.
Let's take a look. So that's the before and after. Alright. Oi. Don't do that. Let's take a look at the highlighting. Okay. Yeah, no, the highlighting looks quite subtle and nice. Like, I had to zoom in a lot to be able to see it. So it's quite subtle. The highlighting is quite subtle in it. It's very nice with that. I'd say, I'd be very happy with that level of highlighting. But just remember that when it comes to some of these other things, right, that you're going to... So yeah, I'm going to scroll in again to see... Right here, so we see just a tiny bit of highlight there, but that could as much be the light itself. But just remember that edge highlighting and other highlights are different. Just give yourself room to go, okay, like, I might not be the best my first time around on this model, but that's okay. Give yourself the room to forgive yourself for errors, because if you don't, right, you're going to be very punishing on yourself. And the thing is, this is what we try and do. We try and give feedback appropriate to your goals. I think, first off, for the most part, I think that I really like the base. I think that you need texture around here.
Like sand.
Yes. So bases and faces make models aces, right? If you don't think you can make a face great, focus on the base.
Right.
Right? I do like the tufts. I think they're nice. But I think color choice is quite good and interesting, but we don't see it as much from the front view because of where is it? So here you see how you've got all of those. Would you say that they're magenta?
Yes.
Magenta accents?
Yes.
So what I would focus on is finding areas to put those magenta accents in, like for example these little vents here, you know, and that sort of thing to give a bit of color variation. Now look, you know, it's going to be hard your first time round painting models. You will improve. Don't beat yourself up. That's the biggest thing, right?
Yes.
Just do your best. And if things don't work out, that's okay.
Yeah.
They're your models, and focus not on now. Focus on, let's say, a month from now, and then compare and contrast. Just keep at it. Keep going, right? You will improve if you just keep going. And be brave. Like, I try and be brave all of the time. I'm trying out oil washes more and, you know, trying out oils more. If you never try and push yourself, you're never going to grow. So it's okay to stuff up.
Yeah.
Right? There's an old Australian saying, and I think it's really good, which is, give it a go, you mug.
Yes.
All right. So I think you've done well. Color choice, excellent.
Yeah.
You know, try out those highlights. That's what you can improve. Actually push yourself and go and try edge highlighting, especially from models with these big blocks on them.
Yes.
All right. So, shall we move on?
Yes.
All right. So, just before we did, can you say what she did well and where she can improve?
So she did well in the color scheme.
Yeah.
Very nice contrast, and the base actually turned out quite nice. But she can try having a little bit more experimentation on edge highlighting and more highlights, and having more texture in the base.
Yes, yes. I'd say just add some sand. Just
Yeah,
literally
just
just some
sand.
beach sand, and you're pretty much done.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. These guys are done up by Joseph. Would you like to read out?
2 more models done for Kentucky Drunken Masters. Slender Man and Manhunter. I imagine this conversation took place at KDM HQ a while back. Adam Poots. Hey guys, I've been working on this model covered in lots of the filigree. They'll have no choice but to paint, but it'll be super fine and shallow, so it'll be hard to paint. I don't think I've made it hard or annoying enough though. Any ideas? Guy in the design team. How about we put lots of thin, weak, gangly, twangable limbs in the way so they block access, but don't hide the filigree. That way they can never get to the brush to the filigree, but they can't hide unpainted parts behind the limbs. Make them thin and long enough, and they won't be able to brace their hands on these limbs while painting either, for fear of breaking them. I'll become almost impossible to paint. Adam Poots, give that man a raise.
I actually have to say that Adam Poots is one of the nicest people ever. So I haven't met him in person, right? But I will say one thing. You know how I've got that other Kingdom Death box?
There's another one?
Yes. But one of the things was, because I don't try and cause trouble and that sort of thing, despite what some other people may think. So what happened was this. I'd been waiting for a very long time on one of my orders, And so I just sent a message to the Kingdom Death team, and I'm just like, have I done like should I be worried or something like this? I haven't. And apparently I think I was far outside the time of when stuff should be delivered.
Right.
And I think like Adam's like, oh no. And because I wasn't like F you, the sort of Karen stereotype is just like, send that man a box.
Yes.
And I couldn't believe it, like that's a lot of money. But it shows that being patient and being kind sometimes pays off. So let's take a look at these finished models.
Look. Well, you managed to get to the filigree.
Yes, he certainly did. So I think now Joseph's going to hate me, but I do think with some of this filigree, you could give some highlights on it.
He's like, shut up, Henry. Shut up. It's finished. Move on.
Yes. Well, just this back area here where it's quite large.
I do see some very bright yellow highlights at the center part.
I think that's just reflection, just give, just a little bit for that color variation. But I tell you what, the head looks fantastic. I really like the head, and I really like the vines.
Yeah. I think you did a great job with that. The colors and the value sets are perfect.
Yes.
I will say.
And
everything is cohesive. Nothing's fighting each other.
Yeah.
It's clean, especially with that white collar.
Oh, yes. So I like that he chose a warm white rather than a cold white, because you take a look at this, right? And all of this is cold.
Yeah, cool colors. It's very much on the more blue tinted.
Yeah. And then,
You've got that nice sunshine yellow. And
then you go in white. There and it's warmth going to cool once again, to break that up.
It's great.
And so I very much like the bases, but I almost always like Joseph's bases. It's not very Kingdom Deathy, but I don't mind. I think this looks fine.
I think he likes to get a bit creative with his Kingdom Death models.
But I think that the flesh of it, the hands, the vines, all of that, absolutely fantastic. So then we have the Manhunter. So he's given it looks like to just be going more into the steel with the canteen, and I think that's fine. I
love what he's done with the pants. It's like a navy blue, like very dark navy blue. I think it's probably black, but it reads as a very dark navy blue jeans. I think it's nice.
I think it's quite cool, which helps break up all of the
warmth of the browns. It's really good stuff. I think the leather effect came out real nice with his cloak and hat. The wood, fantastic, and the skull.
The wood is quite fantastic, but with the flesh itself, now I think that he's done very well with the skin. Right, I think that the skin looks great, but I think from a colour perspective, he could have gone a lot paler into the sort of purples to give it a sort of pale, deadish sort of look.
But why?
Because you've got all of these warms all here, right? And sort of that contrast.
I kind of disagree, because the pants, which is the only cool element in this, pretty much the only cool element in this piece, is right next to the tummy, the skin. So it will actually overtake quite a fair bit.
You reckon?
It will. And I think this is actually good as is, what he's done with it. I think if he wants to go paler, more paler flesh of that color, but definitely no tint of the under purple tone. No, just keep it as is, but you could go a bit brighter if you want. But I personally think you've nailed it.
And once again, the base, absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Love the base. But that's the only thing that I could say, because I think that he's done very well with the scratches and the highlights and all of that sort of thing. Just a very nice looking model. There's
the
like
macho man.
yeah, he's one of the nemesis for the game, but I'll get into that another time. But yeah, I think it looks very fantastic, very interesting. So, shall we move on?
Yes, we should.
Oh, and before we go, so what did he do well? Where could he improve with the Slender Man?
Well, I think he did well with the color choices.
Oh, fantastic.
And the matching of the, bringing in good contrast.
Even with the white as a warm white rather than the cool.
Yes, and I think you said he could add just extra push with the highlights, with the filigree, but I don't think you need to do that.
Well, considering he wrote a whole story about how the filigree is hard to get to.
Yeah, no, listen. Like when I was doing Baldy, I was already confused how I was going to get to the filigree. It was not even as broad as the filigree you have. It's freaking puny.
Yeah.
Like ants puny. Well, smaller than ants.
Well, and what did...
I think he did that with the color scheme there as well. You think you should go more with the paler skin tone. I think he's fine.
Yeah.
So, yes, that would be pretty much it for me.
And what could he improve for the Manhunter, in your opinion?
Nothing. I don't think he needs improvement.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so
yes,
this was
trees.
my cheating post where I was just talking about what's one of your favorite, sort of ready-made gaming cheats.
We could never find this.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll move on.
Oh, look.
It's Anakin.
It's Anakin, and he's got a bit of
But
an unshaven
I love
look.
this
Yeah.
this girl's Stella. Daddy Anakin, 5 o'clock shadow.
So yeah, you can definitely see he's got a bit of a scruff growing.
Alright, so we've got, do you want to read out?
Finished the Clone Troopers and started work on Anakin. Yep.
Alright.
Wow.
So I think the Clone Troopers look quite nice. I think one of the things that he's great at doing is those highlights to show where the light is coming from.
Yeah.
I think that looks absolutely fantastic. I do feel that the dirt is a lot better here. The way that he's feathered it out.
I think it could still go just a bit higher.
Yeah, I agree. It could go higher. Because it won't just stop at the feet. It'll rise up to about here, but it'll sort of fade out. So
yeah,
same deal. And Anakin's a work in progress, but I tell you what, that face is looking absolutely fantastic.
Yes, I wonder if it is a stylistic choice to give him that shadow.
Yes, it is. It 100% is, because you can see the lips come through.
Yeah.
So I think
it's quite lovely. Yeah.
Yes, looking really good.
He is looking
Alright,
very
so
nice.
what he did well with these guys, absolutely great with showing where the light's coming from. Where he can improve is still the same thing, the dirt
dusting. Yeah, I think he might be a bit afraid to go too far with it, because he might feel that it's like, if I go too far, it's too far,
Yeah.
and then it's ruined. But yeah.
So we've got Brian once again.
And he's prepped up his models.
Yep.
So
prep for painting.
Filling gaps, tidying up. Yeah, the
Yeah,
usual process.
And that's absolutely fantastic, because I know that Brian has a bit of trouble with actually getting to it. Is this a printer in the background?
I do not know.
A 3D printer is what I was trying to get.
Yes.
But yeah, no, they're looking good. So we will see some more soon, hopefully.
Yes.
All right.
It's your sharks.
And
Shark
I wanted to get back to Davith's feedback. All right. So I'm just gonna write that I am currently doing the review and reply in there. Alright, so Here we go. You want to read it out?
I dig them a lot. Nice color scheme with elements shared across the whole warband that really pops with the turquoise and bright, almost pinkish red. One piece of hopefully constructive criticism, however, the bases are genuinely great. The transition from water across gradations of wet then dry sand to coarse ground is very nice. I wonder though if the effect might have been enhanced if flipped 180 so that the warriors were charging out of the surf rather than into it. Narratively, it would make more sense, especially for the shark men. But you'd also end up with the surf edge of the base up against the black half of the base rim rather than against the turquoise half.
Yeah, so he's already brought up one part of the problem, and I'll show him the other halves. Because, like, the issue is I actually really agree with him. I really agree with him, and the issue comes very quickly when we get to... where is he?
We're getting there, don't worry.
There he is. This is the issue. This man right here. So, like, if I turned him around, like, I'd 100% agree with you on that. If it wasn't for this guy right here...
He's casting a net onto the ground. I guess you could justify it as the net is his weapon of choice to trap his enemies or
whatever. But like it just looks so odd, and like I like the
why
thing
is he throwing the net at the ground?
Yeah.
What does he hope to catch?
And like the thing is, I really do agree with him, and that's why I'm like,
because then he'll be the only one that's inconsistent as compared to the rest of them.
Originally I had the thought of having the shark guys charging away from the beach, and then these other people heading towards the beach, and then I'm like, oh, that doesn't look so good. And then I was like, all right, well, maybe I could have them just like the beaches like here, like half and half sort of thing.
Yeah.
But when it was like that, I was like, oh, it's less dynamic.
Yeah.
And like,
the composition is totally thrown off. The flow of the eye is broken.
Yeah, and like for me, I'm just sort of like, Davith is just like, here is the problem with beach models, and I'm like, yes, Davith, you're right. Oh yeah.
All right, moving on to
yes, but
next.
I am very, very glad to get
Receive
the feedback.
Yes,
and like the worst part of it is I agree with him, but I'm like, I don't know the solution.
Yeah.
All right. So all right, Stephen writes all of this text and shows no pictures.
Yes.
Not even
ignore.
No pictures. Not even a picture of his shirt. So would you like to read this out?
So today is Whip Wednesday. I was thinking of what to post, but I've decided to have a funny look at things not to do when painting or working with paints. Here's some of mine. But why don't you pop up in the comment section on things you've learned by messing up? Haha.
Yes.
So first off, last night I was transferring GW paints into dropper bottles. They look so satisfying, by the way, and I learned 2 things last night. Number 1, do not wear your favorite white anime tee while handling paints. While stirring a pot of dark purple paint, I kind of stirred too hard and splashed some on the desk.
Is it Luxian purple? Because we found that Luxian purple is cursed.
No, it's not. It's not Luxian purple.
Which is the one
It's Magos purple.
Oh, Magos purple.
And I call it Chaos purple
because it always hits like your clothes.
It hit my little cat ears headband that I used to.
It's not cat ears. It's sheep.
Whatever. My cat ears headband that I use to keep my hair out of my face while I'm doing things, and it's ruined. It's all ruined.
Alright, continue.
And didn't think much of it until I realized I was wearing white. I was so upset that it happened, but laughed it off as a silly mistake. Number 2, not wearing gloves and touching your face. Halfway through transferring them, I had an itch on my eyebrow, and I decided that scratching it would be fantastic. Well, looking at myself in the mirror after I can't face face with a weirdo with paint on his face, so please learn from my mistakes. Here's one mistake that I've made many, many times, and even though I try and remind myself, I still do it.
Oh yes,
3.
this one I
Listening or watching a funny podcast or show. My minis would be 2 to 3 times better if I had heed my own warning, but I just can't help it. A comedy in the background or listening to comedians on a podcast always makes me laugh at the one moment where you need to have a steady hand. Am I going to stop? Probably not. So here are my 3 most current mistakes. What are yours? Let's share some and maybe I won't feel so silly.
But yeah, so let's read out what Paul said. So Paul said, I'm just gonna say, don't look at my tongue. But also, does anyone else think the brown tastes the worst of all the colors?
There you go. Wonder what my mistakes are.
Probably
opening.
Your mistakes are you're a brutal barbarian savage who will break all of her models if somebody doesn't give her a warning.
It's too soft. It's not my fault.
Yes. I'm sorry, that the 2000 AD music starts playing every time you come into the painting. Dum 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 dum. Ba-da-da.
Yes,
all of the models
yes.
looking out in pain.
Dear Mood, Whip Wednesday, working on these. Though I had a white ink, turns out I don't. But hopefully we'll later on today have a bunch of elves to finish off with them. Never thought I'd be painting something to match the old school feel.
Alright, so let's take a look. So I don't think that this unicorn came up great at all. See Angela.
Angela.
But I do think that these horses came out very sort of, I'm not going to say well, but they matched the old school style.
Yes.
Like that particularly old hammer sort of look. They look very much like that. But I do feel like that it just needs work. Like the mane and the hairs on it are just too glossy. And
Okay.
yeah, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just thinking about what you said, that's all.
Alright.
I'm not really a huge fan of the old hammer style because I much prefer the more modern style, but that's just me. You're going for a specific look. You are going for the warhammer style, so
The old hammer style.
Old hammer style, and it looks that way. So I'm not gonna.
But even with that, like right here, they didn't look glossy. They looked super matte, like this right here.
Okay.
And see, like, that's why I think, because we're meant to be specific for people's goals, right?
Yes.
And it's square bases, and like that just throws it off.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. What's this guy? A broom.
No, it's so that connects to those horses back there. So that goes onto their saddles. But yes, so I feel like
I think because the old hammer has very little shadowing.
Yeah, I don't know. Even with some of the stylistic choices, I feel like some of these could really be improved.
They need shadow, really.
Yeah, shadow and highlight.
Yeah,
just
like a little. Like I've seen some old hammer videos. They don't really blend the highlight or the shadow too much. It's just more like cell shading kind of look.
Yeah.
So they'll just sort of do edge highlighting with shadows and with the highlights.
Yes.
Yeah, so the technique is what I'm talking about.
So like I think, for example, these horses right here done very well, but these ones not as well. So I think what you need to get rid of is any gloss.
Yeah.
Old hammer never had any gloss anywhere.
Okay.
Everything is super matte.
Right. Okay.
It's really hard because that's how like when you're going for a particular style, we've sort of got to focus on that style, but
yeah, you could just matte varnish it and be fine.
yeah, we'll see. So hopefully we'll see some more on those guys. All right, and Kerry Hughes, absolutely, smashing it coming out. All right.
Continue working on my Cruel Boys batch up. The final bit is going slow and needs bits printed for the base. Started painting for Frosted Giant, still trying to figure out the direction and color for the fur and hair. I'm taking recommendations, just started early color blocking out. I also built a display LED box for some models that have important significance for me. Lastly, I've been building and magnetizing models like crazy. Seems like she's doing a lot.
It does seem like she's doing a lot. So, obviously, I'm going to go for red. Or rather, I should say, auburn hair. Because, so this right here, his cloak, have that be, a brown or,
It could be brown or even like one of those grey wolf types.
Yeah, but for his hair himself, right? Because I think that's boots down there. But for his hair itself, like that sort of reddish brown, I think, or like quite sort of like my beard,
Yeah.
like
yours, red beard.
yes. Well, in my profile picture, it's brown because I used to dye it brown, but you said you prefer it to be red.
It looks nice.
I prefer it red because I don't look as mongoloid.
I think it makes you look unique, honey.
Yes. That's what I'm going for, unique. But I think that would be a good color choice. I think because like there's the strong contrast between the cool tones and the warm tones.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really digging where it's going.
Yeah, look at the clean color blocks. Fantastic. Yes. I can't wait to see how you go with the skin. I think maybe an airbrush.
Why are you saying an airbrush?
So that airbrush the skin tones.
No, it's fine. Oh no, that picture is so small. But yes, I see what you're saying. But yes, and then just some pictures of her magnetizing a whole lot of models. And I think that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. All right, let us move on. So next up, we've got Lance.
Ooh, something different.
Yes, you want to read it through?
Well, I'm slowly getting back into it. Thought I would show a couple of my old work. Hope to be back painting soon. Got a few zombies in the queue.
So let's just take a look at where he's been going with it. And I think it's good to do...
I like the owl bear. I think
the owl bear is
fantastic.
Quite nice.
Look at the eyes, the detailing, the color choice. Perfect.
But yeah, it's interesting going back, seeing where you've been and where you are now. I think that it's really good just having somewhere to review. Because do you remember when Joseph showed up the whole bit of his Marvel Crisis Protocol, all the terrain, all of the models together? Like, once you saw it all together, you got such a better feel of all of it, and you're just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I sort of like get a much better idea of how everything is. All right. So then, next up, speaking of Joseph, here we go. Would you like to read out?
I found myself with a few hours to hobby, but away from my paints. I happen to have a Bandai kit, eBay bargain, and my tools with me though. Here's the results. Ava 05 from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Most of the black was painted on tonight, and the lines were drawn on with a marker. Otherwise, it's bare plastic and stickers. Although mini for scale, he also came up with 2 humans to paint up later at 50 to 60 mm scale. Shinji in school uniform and Asuka in the yellow dress. I'll ignore them until much later.
Alright, so let's take a look at it. Well, I tell you what, those lines are quite stark, so that looks really good.
Yeah, it looks very comic, like exactly like a line drawn artwork.
Yes, it looks like it's from the TV show.
Yeah.
Which is how it should look. But I feel like the white over here, like I know that that's deliberate, obviously, but it just feels off, you know.
Is there more to be done with it, or is that how it just looks?
I think that's meant to be how it looks.
Oh yeah, I see it.
But this is why I don't get into these kits, because like I get them like this and I'm just like, you make GW look like everything's free and easy. Alright, but yeah, no, I think it looks good. I think the way that he's done it is quite
Very
nice.
clean, that's for sure.
Yeah, very nice. But I think also it'd be good to see it in a box sort of thing, you know, rather than with all of the stuff in the background fighting with it, because it's so stark with its black and white.
Yeah.
It's hard to read it a bit, you know what I'm
Just
saying?
clean, yeah.
Yeah. So like, unfortunately,
I think this is probably better because his light box is pure white light box. So that's not gonna show up very well.
Maybe.
So,
6 one way, half a dozen the other. Alright, so the bronze dragon is finally finished. Alright, let's take a look. Let's take a look.
See some detailing. Yes.
Alright, alright, so first thing, you need to, you know, take a picture of this guy in a
Clean background.
yes, because it is very difficult to read currently. Okay. I feel like the horns
Could be bone.
Well, no, I'm not going to say bone because he's gone for that metallic look over all of it, right? So I think that they could be a different coloured metallic. Like maybe a darker coloured metallic.
Oh, like a dark bronze, like warlock bronze or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that.
Yeah. So
You could do a little bit of highlights with some of the bronze colors and then bring up.
some true metallic metal highlights.
Yeah, that would work with this.
I feel like the same things that I said were true before, but I really feel like, unfortunately, I can't fully give criticism on this one, mostly because of all of the stuff in the background.
Yeah.
Like, it just fights the model so hard in these pictures.
Yeah.
And it is hard to see the wings. Like, I look here and I go, was that depth added or was
Is
this...
it the light?
Yeah, or is it the reflections, all of that sort of thing.
Yes.
And, yeah, I think once we get it in there, but I think, like, there's a couple of things that I would definitely do differently. Mostly the horns, and add some depth to those wings. But I really do like the pure metallic look. But I think also with the base, you know how he had that strong crackle look and now he's sort of added some stuff here. This is what I'm talking about when I'm saying the stuff's being fought. So I don't know if this is still wet and drying.
Or if it's just glossy.
Yeah.
But I think in his other pictures it still looked quite glossy, so I think he needs to add a matte varnish for that.
Well, either a matte varnish or an actual flock over the top of it. Because, like, that full metallic look is going to look more striking when it's contrasting against a nice organic base.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that.
Yeah, so I think, Stephen, if you could take a picture of this with
proper backdrop.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic, and then we could give some better feedback, I feel. Alright, when Cian posted this, perfect, absolutely perfect. So he's like, sub-assembly for the win. Furthermore, the brain painting is great, but he's like, left before the wash, after the wash. And take a look at that, right? Because this is so much of like, trust the process sort of thing. Because you look at it over here, right? And you're sort of like, I don't know. But then over here, this looks like real brain matter.
It does.
It looks like real brain matter. It looks absolutely fantastic. I love it. So I've got not a bad thing to say about it, and I absolutely love it. Yeah, that's it. You know, like this is what I love. I love seeing this sort of thing, and I think that that's some of your best painting thus far. That brain matter right there, just it looks so good. It looks so realistic. It doesn't contrast as well against this, but that's actual brain matter. It looks like actual brain matter. I love it.
He's very excited about your brain.
Yes. She's not excited.
We can see more brains in the future.
Yes. All right. So next up, we've got Calvione with the two-headed troll, and I love the classic color scheme of I've forgotten what it's called. The villain color scheme where you
Goblin green.
Well, no. How you have purple and green is to
that's
say.
the evil color scheme of like Maleficent, actually. But
and I really like the base. The base has come up quite nice. Only thing I would say is it could use a bit more depth in the shadows.
Yeah, I would say the same.
But I very much like the yellow warts and all of that sort of thing. I think it's come up really, really well. Like, is there anything?
I don't know. I think there's some sort of cloths around his waist or something.
Yes, because at the moment it looks a little not YouTube safe for work.
Yes, so I thought maybe if that is like a tunic or something that he's wearing, it could be a different color.
Or it might be not YouTube safe
safe.
for
Well,
work.
we'll pretend that it's what I said it was.
Yes, it's definitely a cloth. So he improved the cloth. Moving on.
Yes.
All right, so Joe has another long story.
I'm cheating a little bit at this, as this is one of my past projects, but I hope you enjoy it all. Here are pictures of a commission that had me stuck before lockdown, and Rona, I wasn't sure if I was good enough to get what I had in my head done, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. This is a War Machine and Hordes Colossal called Blockader. And now, for the fun stuff, this is the first thing I got my teeth into after the Blockader. So they're a game called Carnival, and it's Assassin's Creed meets the Lovecraft in Venice. There are many factions in the game, and I have a pretty big soft spot for undead and vampire. I think due to Jason and the Argonaut and the skeleton fight scene and WHFB.
Hold up,
House? No.
No, all right. Let's see.
What house friend be?
What house friend be?
Yes.
It was White House Facebook.
Oh no, that's not fun. Nothing fun about that.
All right. Anyway, as you want to continue?
What has farming become?
What has farming become? Yes, what has farming become?
We shall do that.
Yes, what has farming become?
As undead was my first army, so I picked the Strigoi. I think that's how it's Strigoi. Yes, Vampire Vlad. And all the thing that go bump in the night. In this, I build this custom display carry tray, custom bases, paint them all up super fast and all in a black and white movie or Sin City style. Enjoy the process. You'll see the test model first, all the way to the finished display carry case.
All right, let's go on an adventure. I'm going on an adventure.
Yes, you love your Joe adventures.
Okay, so
Joe Sutton adventures.
So he starts with greens. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's a War Machine here, and he's making it shoot out his fist thing.
It's an extendable arm.
Yes, and so he starts building it up. And then he starts doing extra rivets on it to help it match up with everything.
Of course, you need more rivets.
And this is the Carnival stuff he was talking about. You've got some Carnival stuff.
Oh yeah, I think I do. It's a necro. Ooh. I see she's got the red.
He's doing it as a sort of black and white.
Yeah, he mentioned he wants to go for the black and white vibes.
I feel like it's just too over the top with the blood. You know, like when you do a black and white look, like the red should like call to it a bit.
Okay,
more.
okay, I know why.
Why?
Okay, I'll find some pictures. I think I know which picture I have in mind. It's an artwork by one of my favorite artists.
That's really interesting how he
Yes.
does it. See how he's sort of like blocks everything out, and then he.
Didn't let me say my thing.
You say your thing.
Well, you're scrolling through all the different pictures.
Well,
you
keep
won't know which
going.
one I'm talking about.
All right, what do you want to?
The bloody one.
Okay.
So essentially, what needs to be done, I think it might be too late to do this, is you need some fade outs of the red. So it has to start like some blotches has to be saturated red, and especially on the clothes, it should not be glossy because the fabric will absorb it. And then you can sort of use a sponge to stipple a fade of the blood sort of going elsewhere into the clothes, so it won't be so stark the way that you've done it. I think that will work very nicely for a black and white piece. I know an artwork that I'm thinking of that I could share with you, and maybe if you want to make some adjustments there, you could always stipple white
He will
over
be finished
red.
with this. So I see how he does it. So he's okay, cool. So he has it so that this is his carry case. That's very cool. I like it. Very cool. But yeah. Oh well. Okay. So he sort of plans it out, and he adds the texture to it. He's going with it. Okay, let's see. Is this that? Oh, that's it. Finished. Okay, because I feel like this step down here, like I felt like it was going to be like a water piece or something. I still stand by my previous statement of like the red is just too much. Like I get what he's going for, but I feel like there's just too much in it.
Yeah, I can show you the picture, and then you'll see what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, how about you add the picture to this bit of feedback? You know, in the video.
Well, I'll have to find it.
All right. Well, if you can find it, and that finishes us off.
Yay!
So, it was a long one this time round, but hopefully you enjoy the process. But as we do each week, let's do our review, and we just sort of go over things. So thank you very much, Joe, for sharing with us that adventure. It's very nice, and I hope all of you have enjoyed this little adventure, and I hope you guys enjoy this wind down, because what we try and do here, we try now. Okay, buddy. That's Hades talking to all of you.
Yes, buddy.
What we try and do is give a service to you guys. Is try and give something back to you, because that's what community is about. It's not about just you being the best or anything like that, because, well, certainly I'm not the best, that's for sure, but also it's about giving back to people. It's about being there, and that's the big thing. Every little bit of feedback that people give, every like every single bit like that gives an affirmation to people. That gives people a feeling of, okay, like there are people here who actually care about what I do, and the parts of my life, because unfortunately, a lot of people don't have great things in their life. And I feel myself rambling off. I think this is because I haven't had food yet.
Yes, me too. Wow. And as always...
Oh, yes. Well, I'll just sort of wrap up the thought before you cut me off. You do that, you know. I think every little bit of feedback helps people know that you're a part of a community. That you're not alone.
Yeah, and that your stuff does matter. You know, like no one's always trying to say that you're bad or you're always only ever good, because everyone has something to improve on.
Yeah.
And that actually encourages you to strive for higher goals, because we should always aim to hold ourselves to the highest standard possible.
Yeah, well,
you know?
And like by saying the highest standard, the thing is your personal standard.
Yes.
Not other people's standard, because if you want to hobby to get your miniatures on the tabletop playing games, yeah, hold yourself to a higher standard. That doesn't mean that you have to paint the best, but if you just want to get your models on the tabletop, find that way to paint them faster.
Yeah.
Find that thing that you need. You
yes.
know? So, from both of us, we'd like to wish you a great weekend.
Yes. Great WAYPN weekend.
Yes, great WAYPN weekend. And we'd like to say,
keep those brushes wet. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.